Now, let's talk a little bit. We have my colleague is on location. His name is Abdulrahman Limhanna, and he is the center of the GCC information. Not only that, the media, or the gathering of the media in the state of Kuwait. Mr. Abdulrahman, can you hear me? Well, look at you, looking good on the big screen. Abdulrahman, good evening, sir, and thank you so much for your patience. I have here with me here Dr. Anwar Al-Harbi, and we were talking about exactly what you are going to refer. Take it away, Mr. Abdul Muhanna.
Well, good evening to you, Wasmi, and to your exclusive guest, Dr. Anwar Al-Harbi, and your speech and also dialogue on the AI and cybersecurity of the GCC and even broader. I mean, I'm coming to you live from the media center of the Ministry of Information that has been organized for the GCC Summit, the 45th one, and also from St. Regis Hotel to give you the latest we have on updates for the Supreme Council meeting GCC Summit, which marks 45th this year. I mean, Kuwait as the host has been the leading, as we know, and it led extensive preparations such as the inauguration of the GCC Pavilion, Abdullah Salim Cultural Center, which highlighted a region's shared accomplishments and cultural unity, and aligned with the 45th GCC Summit, and has been opened since this month, November 2024, and would be open until December the 13th, and would be to the whole public of Kuwait and the GCC member states and citizens, so they could find the shared visions of and accomplishments of the GCC, and marks the cultural landmark of the GCC. And now moving to the latest we have on files that are high on the agenda. We know that the GCC have files such as the Palestinian cause, the file of Yemen, the file of Lebanon, and other countries in the region that are high on the agenda, and we'll touch upon that later with my exclusive guest that I have right here. But also we have an economic integration concept that has been on the table for years now and has been touched upon heavily currently, which could mark or signify something in the coming years for more collaboration, probably economically, between all the GCC countries. On that note, we could have more of a political discussion with the guests, an exclusive guest I have right here from Korea, Mr. Professor Kim Kang-song, who is a professor in Hangul University of Foreign Affairs. How was my Korean, Wasmi? That's better than yours. Mr. Professor Kim, thank you for being with us.
I'm honored to be here.
Can you please tell us, what do you think of the GCC summit from your perspective as a professor in Hangul University of Foreign Affairs and as a Korean present in Kuwait Media Center?
Yeah, given that this year's GCC summit slogan, Al-Mustaqbal College, GCC is the future. In order to address common challenges facing in the region, this can be a very crucial role in solving the problems such as the food security, energy issue, connectivity, a lot of issues. GCC countries came together and to solve the problems. So I think this kind of cooperation could be strengthened in the future. So that's why this country's collaboration is very prosperous and promising. I think so.
So you think the GCC summit would play an even more important role in actually implementing the ideas that you just mentioned on trade, transportation, and other factors, right?
Yes, exactly, including a lot of issues. I heard that now actively discussing railway constructions, and then new challenges such as cybersecurity, AI. A lot of new fields can be in an area where GCC countries can cooperate, because nowadays a lot of new kind of the challenges are rising. So GCC cooperation can even enlarge or further in the fields of the new vision with new very very promising leaders came together in discussion in this kind of Kuwait. It's very important.
That was elaborative. I mean, now moving to the media center, as you being here, you've seen the Kuwait's preparation. Can you briefly tell us what do you think of Kuwait's preparations and about the media center exactly, as you've been spending your time here, and maybe you've gone to also Abdullah Salim Center as well?
It gives a lot of attractions to be offered here. A lot of textbook, a lot of things to enjoy. And then when I see outside, numerous banners celebrating this kind of summit, and then people are very enthusiastic about hosting this kind of the big event in Kuwait. So I think my impression is the Kuwait government is well prepared for this summit. And then when I visited the Abdullah Salem Culture Center, the GCC pavilion offers a lot of historical background of how GCC can cooperate since the 70s until now, and then what kind of the area should be strengthened in the future. So I think this kind of all activity demonstrates that how Kuwait is well prepared at this kind of summit. I really enjoyed as an observer in this kind of center, in the media center. I'm really happy with this. Yeah.
So as someone from outside the region, as a Korean, you would say that Kuwait has prepared thoroughly, and the summit would play out really well tomorrow. And one part is Kuwait's leading and preparations that have been executed, right?
Exactly. Kuwait plays a very important role in this kind of hosting this kind of the summit. Actually, I might think that Kuwait as a regional, very important country, this kind of summit is likely to be very informative, very successful. So that's what I expected to do. Yeah.
Now, let's move to the last question. What do you think about the view of the world, or let's say Asian countries, China, Korea, or even the broader world, think of such exclusive GCC summit in any area, politically speaking or economically speaking? Have you got any brief answer on that?
Yes, as a Korean, to be honest, Korea is expected a lot of the GCC cooperation. Now, free trade agreement with GCC countries are being discussed by Korean government and GCC countries, and then actually GCC as a common economic, very important economic international organizations leading in the Arab world. Actually, Korea expects that in collaboration with the GCC countries together, it might be enhance regional stability, regional economic prosperity. This kind of the good maybe future activity will be strengthened in collaboration GCC as a whole group. So that's promising, and then especially for Asian countries, including Korea, might expect that this collaboration between Asian countries and GCC countries will be further strengthened in the foreseeable future. That's very promising.
So at the very end, Professor Kim, what some words would you say to the GCC summit which will take place tomorrow?
Yes, I hope as the slogan indicates, المستقبل الخليج اللغة العربية as a statement or all leaders talking about how to bring about new bright future. That kind of the exact goal should be included in the summit statement, and then actually the summit leads to very important achievement. I hope so. I really expect, and I really want to forward to seeing the very important achievement will be resulted. I expect it, hopefully.
Well, thank you very much, Professor, for being with us. Thank you. Well, dear viewers, as you've seen the exclusive insight of
أنت
someone who's outside the region, Professor Kim Kang-song in Hangul University of Foreign Affairs. My Korean is still better than you, Wesmi. Now, moving to important files, moving politically speaking, the GCC countries have important files high on the agenda. The Palestinian cause comes high on top of that, and especially on the recent turmoil that we've seen in Palestine by the Israeli occupation. The GCC countries have been supportive, providing medical supplies, providing aids. $millions have been spent, and also shelters to families dead and displaced families as well. And moving to other countries like Yemen, also by the UAE and Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries, $millions have been spent on Yemeni civilians. And in Sudan, where the war and violence has been going for long now, there has been encouragement of peace talks by GCC countries. They've been mediators in encouraging peace talks between the parties in Sudan, and also through international institutions such as the United Nations and other forms of help, and even international financial backings. And now moving to more important also file on the agenda, which are the economic integration. When we speak of the economic integration, we are speaking of very important files, such as we have the Gulf Common Market. That's one of the files that has been discussed and also founded in 2008 by Kuwait. We could have a shared market if implemented and realized fully between the Gulf. We could have a shared market between the Gulf, and we could have, let's say, shared markets, not in terms of like businesses and entrepreneurs, where a businessman or a business entrepreneur could open a business in other Gulf country with the same privileges as the national, but also when we're speaking of the stock market, where if someone wanted to trade in, let's say as a Kuwaiti, if I wanted to trade in the UAE stock exchange, I could have the same privileges as the UAE citizen under the conditions of the Gulf Common Market. And also moving to the custom unions laws, they're trying to unify policies, eliminate tariff on intra-GCC trade, and also implement external tariffs on goods imported from non-GCC countries. So if we actually get to a point to the realization of removing tariffs between us as GCC countries and including and having tariffs on goods coming from outside the GCC, we would boost the economy way more than the economy already boosted, and the GDP would be even higher than it is already. And we've seen that trade between, as an example, trade between UAE and Saudi have significantly risen after customs barriers were eased in the past years. And honestly, after we've looked at the ministerial meeting, the 162nd one, might even be more eased in the coming years, as it's high on the agenda, the concept of economic integration. Because even if we look at examples from the European Union, one of the things that the GCC have been discussing is the unification of currency. But this is how politics work. Things get a lot of time to even be implemented. It took China more than at least 50 years to even get out of poverty, but even still, until now, people find that amazing, as in 50 years they have gotten rid of poverty, because politics needs years until let's say a leader could actually implement a big policy and a big change like that. That's how politics work. So when Europe was trying to find the whole European Union, the very last factor they have formed and reached is the unification of currency. So they've reached many factors before that, such as the unification of monetary policies, unification of some legal policies, some political visions that could be way came before the unification of currencies. And the same applies to the Gulf as well. When we speak in the term of the Gulf, we need years, but we should stick to the same visions and hope that we have, and still take the inspiration that we have from other examples that we have around the world. And we should end, of course, finally with the Gulf Railway project, an important one that has been touched upon a lot recently by the GCC countries, connecting all of the GCC countries with a length of 2,000 kilometers. and would be spent upon $250 billion just to get everything through it. And it would be not only to increase tourism between the GCC countries, but also to increase and even rise the freight transportation and decrease the logistical costs. So we've seen that because the UAE and Saudi have actually completed sections in the past years, and they've benefited from that, and they're targeting to finish in the coming years. And the Emiratis and the UAE have already the Etihad Rail, which connects Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and I think part of Sharjah as well. So eventually it would connect maybe most of if not all the Gulf, even to trade goods and services, not only transport people, which would add to the cultural ties and also the economic side of the GCC countries. And of course, I would like to end by giving gratitude to the Ministry of Information for putting all the efforts and excelling such great effort alongside with the Ministry of Interior and National Guard here at the Media Center. And of course, in the studios, my colleagues have been going live as well, doing as much work as possible to deliver the best picture that we could do about the GCC summit that would take place on 1st of December, Sunday, tomorrow. And all we wish for now is for the summit is to go as smooth as possible, and that most of the files that are high on the agenda would be implemented and realized in the coming years. Wasmi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Rahman Al Muhanna. This is very excellent reporting. Thank you so much once again.